All right, good morning, guys. We are on the phone again because I am way too lazy to get my DJI camera and microphone out this morning. You might be able to hear the furnace and the trailer going. I got it warming up a little bit, even though it is May 24th. It's a little chilly outside, just a little chilly. It got down to 52 degrees in the trailer overnight. 55. So, well, and that's because I had the furnace set on 55, which is the lowest the thermostat will go. But I got to check out of this campground here in about an hour and 15 minutes. I'll just have a short drive up to Jasper from Calgary today, so kind of taking a lazy morning. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rearrange some of my stuff because I want to take some more weight out of the bed of the truck and put it in the trailer, and take some of the super lightweight stuff that's bulky and in the trailer and put it in the bed of the truck just to get it out of the way. So I'm going to work on that, and then we will get hitched up and get moving for the day. So here's kind of how when I move stuff out of the bedroom and bathroom area so that I can actually use it. Because there was stuff all through that walkway there that just gets shoved back here. Like these two bins. So these chairs were in here, but those are going to go in the bed of the truck. All these bins with blue lids are going to go in the bed of the truck because they're pretty light. They were in the pass-through. These are two dog beds that I'm taking up for a family member. So those are pretty lightweight. Look, yeah, they're pretty light. So I'll put those in the bed of the truck. Maybe this box of shoes. It's just been kicking around, I don't know. But some of this lightweight stuff is going to go in the bed of the truck, and then I'm going to get a couple of the heavy bins that are currently back there and then stack them right where you see that Home Depot box with these two bins are. And then I'm going to put a few more things in the pass-through of the trailer because I want to put some more tongue weight on the trailer so it can transfer it up to the front axle of the truck, but then also get some weight out of the bed of the truck. I moved a few things around yesterday and it did help quite a bit, but I want to do a little bit more today. Just so you guys can kind of see. I don't have it on wide angle, but let's this is kind of how I have the trailer packed up for the trip. So that's just a pile of stuff there. Wiring, mostly clothing. There's a solar panel hiding back there. And then bed. That's my backpack with all my computers. So I just kicked this stuff out of the way. I put the backpack over here by this door last night. And then, yeah. And I've got a little bedside drawer and a power station just in case I want to charge, not using the inverter. But I've been plugged in the last couple of nights. So I'll probably use that EcoFlow power station when I'm boondocking just to save some charge on the house batteries. But then I've got a couple of safes down there. Yeah, this is how I have the trailer laid out for travel. And all my toiletries and stuff in there. There's breakfast. So yeah, this is what the inside of the trailer has been looking like as I've been sleeping in here the last couple of days. So, and then I obviously have to get this stuff out of the way so I can run the slide back in. Because the slide comes into about right here-ish. That's where the edge of the slide gets to. So can't have anything past that point. So the slide can come in. All right, let's get working. All right, guys, I got a fresh battery in the DJI and the microphone on now. Didn't do as much shuffling of weight as I wanted to because I needed to unhook more from the trailer than I did, and I just don't want to today. But we only have about a 5-hour drive to Whistler's Campground in Jasper today, so then I'm going to completely unhook and drive into town for dinner like I did last year. So I will do weight rearranging more completely then. Anyway, We stayed here at the Callaway Park campground last night, and I can see that the park is open because the parking lot over there is super full. You can see this is part of the campground. This is the full hookup pull-throughs here, but that's the amusement park right over there. And there was a bunch of families and kids here this morning, but also a lot of transients because there's people peacing out already. So it's not a holiday weekend here in Canada. May Long was last weekend, I think, which is their long May holiday. So not like the United States where it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend. Here it's just a normal Sunday. Today's Sunday? I think today's Sunday. Anyway, I took a really sweet picture of the park last night to send to my brother that lived here in Alberta for a couple years. So I'll put that in the video for you guys, but it was pretty sweet. Anyway, we are going to be heading that way towards the mountains. But first, as always, we got to go get gas. They're doing a lot of construction, so that's normally the way you go out, but they've got this road built right here because we got to curve all the way around and down and through and over yonder and over the hills and through the woods to get in and out of here right now. So yeah, here's the other half of the campground if you want back in sights. There's more trees over here. Obviously where I was at was just wide open. The sights were not very level, so I had to run my trailer up on some blocks on one side, and then the front half of it was really high up in the air, so I actually had to use some wood blocks to get my, sorry about that, security guards and lots of traffic. But anyway, we had to I forget what I was saying now. Oh, they're working on the interchange exit on the road that this park is on, so had to do that interesting bypass road. But we are on the highway now. Well, we're on the access road to the Callaway Park, which is over there. And we're gonna go this way and turn west towards Banff and Jasper. Our ultimate goal today is Whistler's Campground in Jasper. We are on Canada Highway 1, Trans-Canada Highway. We're gonna be stopping at a gas station up here in about 5 minutes, and then we'll continue pressing west. All right, time to wait to get gas. Guys, this is why I like to come this way through Banff, Jasper, Kootenay, depending on which side of the mountains you're coming at them from, but the Canadian Rockies are just unreal. Like, you have to see these in person at least once in your life. up on Lake Louise here in a minute. Not gonna stop, especially with this big trailer. I didn't want to stop last year with the Micro Mini, and I'm definitely not stopping with this 30-foot trailer, especially since I don't have a campground or anything to leave it at. But yeah, coming up on Lake Louise here in a sec. In fact, the hard-sided campground is for Lake Louise is just down there in the trees off to the left. Here is the exit for Lake Louise. You just see the mountains up there. Lake Louise itself is off to the left, but we're not going to get any views of it from down here on the highway, I don't think. The town is just going to be right here, and then Lake Louise is kind of back in that valley right back there. Can't even tell if you guys can see it because I got to keep watching the road. But Lake Louise is back in there somewhere. Alright, here we go. Off of the Trans-Canada Highway, so long. And on to the Icefields Parkway once again. Starting the views. I could just show you everywhere, but I don't have a 360-degree cam. But Icefields is just as spectacular as it always is. Still a lot of snow up here. It's just gorgeous. Check it out, guys. I stopped to use the facilities here on this pullout. But look at this view. It is just spectacular. No cell service along this whole road, but I have my Starlink, so I FaceTimed my mom so she could see this. But man, just gorgeous. Here's the old truck and trailer. Doing pretty good. I keep finding interesting things about this trailer that I don't like. For example, this bit of wiring right here that is just zip tied to the outside of this wire loom and just kind of, you know, just hanging out here for no reason. So I may dig out my wire loom and zip ties when I get to Jasper tonight and protect that bit of wiring anyway. Not much I can do. I've tried shoving it back up in here and it just keeps falling out, so yeah. Cheap trailers are cheap, guys. Someone tell Highland Ridge to do a better job building their trailers, because yeah, that's no bueno. But other than that, oh, I forgot, I still got you guys zoomed in. Hold on. Other than that, shuffling the weight around has helped quite a bit. See, the truck is sitting a lot more level now. I still am of the opinion that a 30-foot trailer might be a bit much for a half-ton pickup for this kind of trip. If I wasn't carrying anything in the truck and didn't have so much of my stuff in the trailer, then I think it would be a much more enjoyable experience than it's being. But it has been an interesting one, that's for sure. So we're gonna keep on trucking nice and slow towards Alaska, which is that way. Stopping up here at Saskatchewan River Crossing to get gas. Put you guys up on the dashboard. So here's where you can turn to go out of the park and go down towards Rocky Mountain House, Red Deer, Calgary, and Edmonton. And we are going to turn off right up here. Some gasolina. Alright, we got gas here at Saskatchewan River Crossing, and I went in and grabbed some snacks. And now we're gonna keep on mushing. It's a gorgeous area here, just gorgeous. Also, don't even ask how much gas was here. Not gonna go in just like I did last year, but I will stop again at the Columbia Icefield Visitor Center just to show it to you guys, because it's gorgeous. So that is the next stop. Guys, we're on a twisty, switchbacky, slow climb up here towards shoot. What's the name of the glacier up there? Anyway, we're on a really slow, twisty climb, but I've seen so far one black bear. I didn't get to stop because there was A, nowhere to stop, and B, people were stopped anyway, partway out into the lane on both sides of the road because the shoulder was narrow, and they were like less than 100 feet from this bear that was rolling in the field next to the road. Idiots. But, so we're up one black bear and 5 bighorn sheep that I've seen so far. Oh, it's the Columbia Icefields. That's what we're climbing up towards here in a bit. Go around this long switchback. It's only 60 kilometers an hour, so about 38-ish miles per hour. Going all the way up this hill here. Look at that. Hopefully you guys can see that through the car window, but it is spectacular over there. Ooh, it's a bit windy, but check this out. Just gorgeous. Walk out here. Try not to get in people's way. It's spectacular, guys. Alright guys, that was quite the climb. They'll let the transmission cool down for a bit. Let's go see what there is to see. Oof. It's so pretty. Columbia Icefields are just right over there.
Jasper. Alright, we're at the Columbia Icefield. The tent campground is closed still. And the Icefield Center is going to be right up here in a bit. Here we are. Alright guys, I didn't bring the DJI, just my phone. But there is the Columbia Icefield. Right over there. So I got parked up and I'm gonna go walk into the Icefield Center because I've never been here when it's been open. I gotta go climb the 1,000 steps right over there. Yeah, there's the sign. You can see that there's still quite a bit of snow here. Columbia Icefield. Icefield Center that way. Alright guys, we're walking back now. There wasn't much in there other than restaurants, and we wanted to go on a tour and stuff, which I don't have time to do. So we are just going back to the truck and we will head on down towards Jasper. It is just an absolutely gorgeous day up here though. Just gorgeous. Alright, so long Columbia Icefield, and that's the Athabasca Glacier. On to Jasper for the night. About an hour or so away. Doesn't mean we're done with the views though. There's still quite a few views as we go down this far side of the pass now. Probably an animal through here, but people are being stupid. Getting out and running up and taking pictures. Let's see what it is. I can't see it and I'm not stopping. It's probably a bear if I had to guess. I didn't see it. But now tourists are so stupid. guys, we are getting closer to Jasper and starting to get into the spot where the fires happened a few years ago. So it's still going to be pretty, but we're going to start seeing more and more fire scars as we drive through here. Scars on both sides. Still unfortunate that this won't grow back in the lifetime of anybody that watches this video. Alright, we're leaving Jasper. And this entrance booth burned down and they still haven't rebuilt it. It's just a temporary Connex house office thing. Yeah, we're out of the park. And we're only 5 minutes from the campground. See, they were able to save that lodge from the fire. Also, this motorhome, this rental in front of me, doesn't know how to do the speed limit. There was a couple of people that got so irritated that they made some very dangerous passes around me and him. I couldn't ever get around him. There wasn't good spots. But, yeah, anyway. See, here's Wapiti Campground, where I stayed last year. But I'm going to stay in Whistler's this year, which is another 2.5 kilometers up the road. Here's the campground, the far side of it. We're going to be coming back. And my site is on this end of it over here. Here's where the Jasper House bungalows used to be. Looks like they are just maybe starting rebuilding there. Hard to say. Okay, here we are. I'm surprised they haven't just cut down all of these burned down trees. It honestly would make the area look so much better if they did. We're going to stop right up here and check in. Alright guys, we are in Jasper again. Here's the visitor center. Like I've said, someday I would love to have a house styled like that. They've got a sign over here too. Jasper. I'll show you guys the what's the word I'm looking for? Progress. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm tired. On the town rebuild since I was here last year. When we see, there's the truck. When we drive back through. But for now, I'm gonna go get pizza at that same pizza place because it was good and I'm hungry. Got this cool little structure here. Friends of Jasper. Got a bunch of tour buses parked here. Almost makes me miss bus driving. Almost. Got the Jasper train station. If you want to ride the Rocky Mountaineer or any of those things down there. There's rental cars. Via Rail Center. This is the Jasper train station. I've got the rail depot down here. Yeah, watch the train for a minute. Almost as scenic as the rail depot in Denali National Park. As I was eating dinner, there was quite a few cargo trains that went by. That's quite a setting. It's a pretty setting for the National Park headquarters here. Alright, we're back in the truck after wandering around town for a minute. I was going to come down here and look at this old train, but I'm ready for my trailer. So there's a building that I think burned down that hasn't come back yet, or they demolished it. Give you guys the grand tour of the tourist area here. Watch for people walking out on these crosswalks. Here's another building that they haven't replaced yet, although it looks like they're working on it. Yeah, there's the foundation and everything there. Here's one of the 2 remaining gas stations in town. The other 2 bit the dust. Here's one of them that bit the dust. It was a 7-Eleven, and they have not started rebuilding this yet. They are working like mad people over here on the left. So there was another gas station right there, Petro-Canada, that they haven't started rebuilding yet, but they are building some new structures right here. These weren't here last year when I was here. Don't know what that's gonna be. I don't know what was there. I've only driven through Jasper a couple of times ever, so. Oh, it's affordable housing. So that's probably also what they're building here as well. There's a big foundation going in right behind this red fence. But who knows? Now the big thing up here on the right, this used to be a couple of like hotel, hostel things. They are finally working on this. There's a foundations going in and there's structure going up there. They had to dig way down for whatever's going in right there. I'm acquaintances with a girl that lived in one of the buildings here that burned down. Yeah, don't know what she's up to now, but she worked here and lived in one of those buildings. So they're starting to go back up. All right, that's the town and what's changed since I was here last year. So glad to see some construction going on. There's an Alpine Lodge, I think is the name of it, up here on the left after we go through the traffic light, that burned down in the fires, and it looks like they're moving right along on getting that rebuilt, so that's good for them. Trying to show that to you guys when we get up here. Alright guys, I always look both ways when you're about to go through an intersection that's been green for a while. There was a truck that almost ran the red light coming from my right, so I just moseyed until I could see that he slam on his brakes. So always check to make sure that no idiot's going to be running the red light before you proceed. That would have been the end of this adventure for sure. If that guy, if I hadn't noticed him not stopping until the last minute, and if he hadn't stopped until the last minute. So once again on the Icefields Parkway for a couple of kilometers. Okay, so it's Alpine Village, Jasper is what this is called, at least according to Google Maps. And they're moving right along on rebuilding it. look at it here. A bunch of log cabins and lodge going in, big lodge building going in. So that's good. Good for them for rebuilding. Well, in that kind of situation, a lot of people might have just closed up shop. But they're rebuilding. I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous clip or not, but I've been having some weird electrical issues with the truck all day. Just the key not working right. It wasn't turning off the auxiliary power, so like my trailer backup camera monitor would stay on, the inReach would stay charging, even with the key off and out. But I figured out what the issue was I had an old USB power adapter plugged into the 12-volt cigarette lighter port that is on the back side of the center console. And whenever that was plugged in, the car was acting weirdly. But as soon as I unplugged it, everything went back to normal. Like the doors weren't locking. Like I couldn't lock the doors with the power lock. You would lock it and they would just unlock again. Wouldn't lock with the key fob. Wouldn't lock with the key. Like I could manually lock them, but yeah, just very weird. And it turns out it's if something was plugged into, at least that particular power adapter plugged into the power part on the back of the center console for the back seat. So I won't be using that anymore. So yeah, that was kind of concerning me all day. Because I had pulled the negative battery cable off the battery and it reset it for a bit, but then it started doing it again. So yeah, that had me really concerned that something was wrong with my truck and I was going to have to spend forever chasing down electrical problems. But turns out I just unplugged that and we were good. Yeah, we're back at the campground. I'll flip you guys around. Whoa, got you all dizzy. Alright, we are back at the campground and my trailer is fortunately still here. So, gotta go over, around, and under and through. Yeah, it said do not enter back there in front of my trailer, but I'm going to go around and enter the do not enter so that I can park in front of my trailer. But I want to see, okay, cool, where the bathroom and shower house was over here, and it is right there. Big shiny new, because that's one thing that burned down in the fire. So that looks nice. I'm going to come over and make use of that right as soon as I park my truck and gather up my things. Alright, so we're going to enter the do not enter. Because I'm going to park in front of my trailer, which is right here. It's going to be a good house for a couple summers, but not enjoying this road, particularly enjoying this road trip with it, if I have to be honest. Okay, let's try not to hit it with my hitch. And good. Alright, I think that's going to do it for the videos today, so I will see you guys in the morning. Alright guys. I know I said I would see you tomorrow, but thought I would do a little review of the bathroom here at Whistler's Campground. I am in loop 58, and there's individual bathroom stalls, which is nice. So here's the pros. Individual bathroom stalls, which is nice. It was pretty clean, which was nice. Plenty of water pressure, which was nice. There was 2 hooks and a place to sit outside of the shower. Now, here's the cons. The water only runs for 20 seconds at a time, and then you either gotta spam push the button or just push it whenever it stops. And the water was hotter than the 7th circle of hell. There's a certain woman that I know that would absolutely love that water temperature. She knows who she is. I don't know if she'll ever watch this, but I know she would absolutely love how hot that water was. But yeah, so that was a con because I could hardly stand to sit in it. So anyway, we're all showered, and so I'm just going to hang out in the trailer for the rest of the evening until we leave tomorrow. Tomorrow we are headed to the Mile Zero campground in Dawson Creek. So I, once again, will see you guys in the morning.